They gave me an alien bride in chains, but when I tried to free her, she said, "Now they'll hunt you too." I didn't ask for a bride, especially not one in chains. But on the 38th day of my diplomatic posting to the rimworld colony of Virextal, they dragged her into my quarters, silent, bruised, and bound to wrists with glowing magnetic cuffs. "This is a gift," said the Virexian commander, his face as cold and scaly as always. "In return for the trade routes you've opened to our moons. You should be honored." He nodded once, then left, the door sealed, and I stood there, staring at her. She was tall, taller than me, even, with silver-gray skin that shimmered like moonlight. Her eyes were crystalline, violet, and luminous. Despite the bruises, she held her chin high. Her shoulders were squared in defiance. I didn't see a gift. I saw a prisoner. "Do you understand me?" I asked gently. She didn't respond. I stepped closer. She didn't flinch, only watched. "My name is Elias Cade, human ambassador. I didn't ask for this. I'm not going to hurt you." Still silence. I glanced at her bindings. The cuffs blinked blue, locked. I crouched and began accessing my handheld terminal. I wasn't military, but I had override access. "You don't belong in chains," I muttered, working on the code. Suddenly her voice cut through the air. "Stop." I froze. She hadn't spoken before. Her voice was rough, quiet, shaped by a different language. But the word was unmistakable. "I'm getting you out of these," I said. "You're not a thing to be given." Her jaw clenched. "If you unlock me, they'll hunt you too." My breath caught. "What?" "They didn't give me as a gift. They gave you as bait." 6 hours earlier, Virexian Council Hall. Unknown to me, the Virexian leadership was debating an ancient custom, the offering. In Virexian law, an offering bride was not a gesture of peace. It was a signal of conquest. To accept a bride was to submit. To free her, that was rebellion. They expected me to keep her caged. If I didn't, they'd be justified in declaring that humans had broken protocol and initiate war. I didn't know any of that yet, but she did. Now, my quarters. I rose slowly from my crouch. "You're saying if I let you go, they'll come after me?" "Not just you," she said softly. "Your people, your ships, your world." She finally looked at me fully. "That's why they gave me to you. They thought a human would accept chains for comfort, that you would keep me as a pet. They wanted you to prove their belief true. And if I don't," I asked. She stared at the cuffs. "Then you've already started a war." I looked down at my terminal. The override prompt blinked, waiting. I tapped in the final code. The cuffs clattered to the floor. She inhaled sharply, and for the first time I saw it. Fear. Not of me, of what came next. 1 hour later, escape. She told me her name was Hilari, and that she had been taken from a Virexian moon where her people, half Virexian, half forgotten, lived in exile. She had been chosen because she was beautiful, because she was dangerous, because she was a message. "They know I'd never submit," she said as I led her through the old service corridors beneath the embassy. "So they chose me, so you'd have to choose." "They'll come for me?" I asked. She nodded. "Yes, they'll say you stole me. You violated sacred rights." "But I'm not one of them," I said. "I don't believe in that kind of power." "Then they'll hate you more." 12 hours later, hunt begins. It didn't take long for the alert to go out. By morning, a Virexian strike force was searching the human compound. I had enough diplomatic immunity to stall them, but not forever. We were fugitives now. I used an old shuttle key I'd kept for emergencies, one hidden under the administrative wing. With Hilari beside me, we launched into the upper atmosphere and punched coordinates to an unregistered human outpost on the dark side of Virextal's smallest moon. She sat silently during the ride, watching the stars blur past. I could see it in her face, relief and something else. "Guilt. You didn't ask for this," she said finally. "I know," I replied. "Neither did you." She looked at me then, something soft in her eyes. "But you freed me. You didn't have to. I couldn't leave you in chains." She looked away. Most would have. 2 days later, hidden outpost. The outpost was old but shielded. Human tech from before the first contact years. We hid there, out of range from the Virexian signal beacons. In the dim light of the shelter, we talked. She told me about her people, how they'd once lived in open sunlight, how they'd been betrayed and cast into exile, how the Virexians fear their bloodline. "How did you survive all this?" I asked. Hilari looked at me, because I knew someday someone might see me as more than a message. I laughed softly. "Well, that someone's neck deep in trouble now." She smiled for the first time. "Maybe we both are." 6 days later, intercepted. It didn't last. The outpost was discovered. A Virexian Hunter-class ship descended through the black sky and cornered us in the valley. We ran through the rocks. Their drones chased us. We were cut off, surrounded. Then Hilari stood tall and stepped in front of me. "I am Hilari of the Forgotten Line. Touch him, and I swear this moon will crack beneath your bones." The soldiers hesitated. They knew the stories. Her bloodline was ancient, feared, A threat in myth and memory. She glowed, literally. Light pulsed from beneath her skin. Her voice echoed with power I didn't understand. They backed off. I didn't know what I just witnessed, but I knew this. She had saved me. Later, a new alliance. Word of the confrontation spread fast. Humans rallied behind the ambassador, who defied chains. Some Virections began questioning the old traditions. Silari's name became legend. They couldn't kill the symbol. Not now. So instead, they negotiated. Silari was declared an independent envoy. I was pulled from the diplomatic roster and reassigned as her liaison. Though everyone knew the truth, we weren't just allies. We were survivors. 3 months later, the Sky Garden, under the rebuilt sky dome of Virexdal's capital, Silari and I stood beside a blooming tree from her home moon, brought here as a gift. She turned to me. Do you regret freeing me? I looked at her, remembering the chains, the stars, the fear, and the light. Never. She smiled, brighter than any star. You were right, I said. You weren't a gift. You were the warning they never saw coming. She stepped closer. And you were the choice they never expected. They gave me an alien bride in chains. But I gave him something stronger in return. Hope.